Wait, you're telling me you can make $250,000 gross as a prime lease owner operator? Hell no, you can't. Show me those pay stubs, and if it is true, I will slap myself in the face right now.
Like in a lot of Asian countries,
Yes.
there's actually a sign everywhere, like like in all the hotels and the airports, like anything public. You can't open it up.
You can't open because it stinks. It stinks.
It stinks.
Like booty hole. I like it though. That's just me.
That's just nasty.
That's just me. I like it.
That's why I don't eat.
So here's the durian, and I'm telling you guys, it smells.
Here's the durian. Here's my butthole. Here you go. Which one smells better? Okay, which one smells
No, smell it, honey. Smell it.
I'm not smelling that.
Smell
It
it.
smells like booty hole.
Whoa!
How does it taste?
So I haven't had butthole durian in so long. It's been since I was like probably 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
But we cut it up. It was in that spike, and I'm gonna take a. It smells so much like butthole.
Oh my gosh. Yum. Booty hole. Ew.
It's a familiar taste. It's not.
Ain't me. That who you be? Who you be doing that to?
Huh? Try it. It smells good.
Oh my god. Ew.
I mean, first off, let's look at this old school shirt. So look at that right there. Rocco's Modern Life, man. So I'm gymming a little bit, trying to get the muscles back, you know, working out just a bit to get sexy for y'all. But let's get into this video. Thank you so much to our subscriber for showing his pay stubs, showing his tax returns, so we really know what kind of money we can make if we want to be a lease owner operator with Prime. So I'm not saying that you should or should not do it, and he's not saying that either. All we're saying is he's doing it now, and these are the numbers, so you know, and from there you can make a decision. Thank you so much, sir. If you're new to the channel, we're more of a group that just help each other out to get information about jobs, because there's recruiters that just tell you whatever the hell you want to hear to get you to that job, and you might not feel secure. I'd rather give you the pay stubs, the tax returns, some info, an interview from someone that's actually doing it, so you know what you're going to get out of this. And that's what this channel is about. So subscribe to the show to get updated info just like this. Let me make a quick disclaimer. I am not sponsored. No one's paying me to say anything about Prime. I'm just putting it out there so that you know we're just giving information so you get what you need, man. So I just want to get this out of the way. There's people for lease operators. There's people against the lease program. All right. I myself believe that when you're ready, go and buy your own truck and then jump onto a company. I'm not saying that it's bad when you lease from the same company that you're working at. It just can be kind of costly, and you're kind of putting all your eggs in their basket. That's the most I can say about that. But with that said, when you're starting work, you have no experience, and you're starting for a mega carrier just like Prime. After a year, I'm not going to say that they want to push you towards the leasing program, but they rather make a little bit less money and you make a little bit more, but you're taking more liability. Because the truck could break down, you're making the payments, you're paying the taxes, all these things. So when it comes down to it, it's smart from a company's point of view. But for a driver, are they going to make money? And there are some positives and there are some negatives. Now, if someone is gung-ho, willing to work their ass off, and willing to stay on the road, then yes, you can make some money with the lease program. And that's what we're going to do today, is show you some of these numbers so you can see what a person with a business mindset and good work ethic can do with this program at Prime. Alright, so before we get into the nitty gritty, let's get a snapshot view of the company. You could go to the fmcsa.gov and check out a snapshot of any company in the nation. So we are looking at Prime Inc. So let's go down. We see that they are headquartered in Springfield, Missouri. There's their phone number. Okay, as far as it goes, they have 7,136 power units, which means tractors, okay? Drivers, they have 8,453 drivers on the books. So they have a whole lot of trucks and a whole lot of drivers. But let's go down here and see what kind of shipments they're hauling. All right, so they do interstate and let's see, general freight, metal, sheets, what have you, logs, poles, building materials, machinery, large, fresh produce, meat, garbage, chemicals, refrigerated foods, beverages, paper products. Okay, so liquids and gases and oil field equipment, livestock and agriculture, let me see, and construction water well stuff, that's out of the picture. So when I do see them on the road, they are having refrigerator reefer trailers on the back of them. So most of the time, that's what I see. But that gives you a snapshot there. Now let's see how their trucks are. Do they have quality equipment? How's their training? We kind of take a look at this just by looking at the numbers. Now, if you look down again at the national average per percentage, this is how many trucks have been inspected, how many times their drivers have been inspected. So this year alone, they have been inspected 15,685 times, okay? And from that, from the vehicles side, they've been inspected 8,357 times, and their out of service is only 9.6%. So that means that they do have quality trucks. Now let's look at their drivers. Out of service, national average is 5.1%. Out of 15,638 drivers, only 219 were out of service. So that lets you know that they're pretty good on their training. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just looking at the numbers. So let's go down and let's look here. Fatal crashes for the year, 14. So sorry to hear that about the drivers, but trucking is very dangerous. But the reason why I do look at the fatal crashes and things like that is there could be a lot of lawsuits. And if you look back with Prime, if you catch it back, they did settle on a couple lawsuits. I remember one for like 28 million. That wasn't too long ago. So you got to look at these things to know, is the trucking company going out of business? Because you do not want to invest your time, especially your money, into a company that's going to go out of business. So let's look down below. And as far as the rating score as of 10/20/2020, which is very recent, right? Only a day old, they have a rating of satisfactory. So you can see right there, they have a satisfactory score. So as far as the snapshot view, they look okay. So before we can even talk about the lease owner operator program there, you got to talk about what are the minimum qualifications just to work there. Because a lot of you don't have an uncle like myself, and from that you need to gain some experience. So you're going to go and get it from a mega carrier. So if you choose Prime, these are their minimum qualifications. I am on their website right now. As you can see here, must be at least 21 years old with a U.S. driver's license for the past 12 months. Must be able to obtain U.S. passport, TWIC card, and hazmat endorsements. Have a verifiable work history and references. Have an acceptable motor vehicle record. Must be able to meet minimum medical qualifications set by Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administrations. So this is just what you need just to apply. So if you're not there yet, then you got to make certain steps to get there, right? All right, let's look at the 1099. So there's actually two, okay? One for $107,482 and one for $143,103. Now, when I asked why is there two 1099s, he basically said he was part of one LLC and finished out the lease with one truck and then started a different LLC for this truck. So that's why there's two 1099s. And so when it comes down to it, he made over $250,000 gross. You guys already know me, so I was like, okay, $250,000 gross. Is that really rare to make at Prime as a lease owner operator? He says, no, it's definitely doable for just about anyone who's got a good business mindset and works hard. You can't be lazy for sure, but how much you make is up to you depending on how much you go home, where you run, and how hard you run. So of course I was asking about the breakdown of the truck payments, permits, insurance, etc. and how much would that cost him. He messaged me back and says, I shoot for 4K gross revenue per week in order to make what I consider a decent check. $10.44 per week truck payment when leasing a newer truck from Prime, but fuel is cheap. We run about 8.5 to 9 mpg on these newer trucks, so I spend less than $800 a week on fuel usually. About $200 to $400 in other odds and ends like permits, insurance, etc. He says the rest is pure profit, so $4K gross a week, depending on fuel, etc. He can easily make $1,500 to $2,000 to the pocket a week. So I asked, for someone that has been working with Prime for over a year, would you recommend going to Lease? Any advice for those people? His advice is to stay with your trainer as long as possible, as long as you can keep your sanity and stand it. You may hate it and you may make less money in the short term, but then you will make money. He goes on by saying, absorb a lot of your mistakes, get comfortable with running a truck your last month on the truck with them, and then, and only then, go Lease if you feel comfortable. I ask him, on average, if I say that you bust your ass and not go home, can you average and clear about 80K net? His response was, oh hell yeah, if I hadn't gone home so much because of family issues and I would have just lived in my truck, he could have made 80 to 100K. And now, if you guys are ever wondering what these trainers make, man, he says the guy who trained me said as a trainer, the last year he was on the truck, he was all set to clear 150K training and leasing with Prime. So maybe that's the plug right there. You got to be a trainer, lease with Prime, run teams, and you could clear 150K. I mean, can anyone else say if this is true or not? So I went on asking him, what's the pay structure like for a trainee versus someone that's leasing a truck? Is it by CPM or percentage? Lease drivers get paid percentage of the load, so whatever it pays, you get 72%. As a trainee, just starting, you get paid cents per mile for the truck. So both your miles and your trainer miles. So starting pay is 17 cents per mile, but because you're getting double miles, it's equivalent to about 34 cents a mile. So he does say that because you are on a trainer's truck, you are getting roughly around 5,000 miles a week. So on average, as a trainee, you'll make about $100 per day. So look out for that, people. Then after about 3 to 5 months, you upgrade and you're eligible to company driver for 44 cents per mile. I believe they raised it to that from 42 when I started. Or you can lease for percentage. So that's up to you, but that's what this information's about. And so he just wanted to show further proof, and he said, this is from last week. My check wasn't fantastic last week, but based on my miles, I get paid, bro. So looking at this last pay stub, it looks like he drove about 2,000 miles, and from that he made $3,097.64 revenue. So no way, shape, or form am I telling you go the lease owner operator route, nothing like that. But if you do decide to go this route, expect this type of money. Expect that you need to drive 2,000 to 2,500 miles a week to cover bills to make some money. You can't be lazy in this, right? You see, for a newer truck, your payments, and I'm sure that's a payment a week, is $1,044 a week. Now, tell me if that's wrong or not, but it is very expensive to run a truck lease. So the fact that my man here can pull 80 G's a year doing this kind of work, I give you props. Your hustle is incredible. Do I recommend this for other people? It just matters on your mindset. But now that you have a little bit more information, you know what you need to do. But for a lot of people, just know that you are enslaving yourself to the truck by having payments. And so just know that, okay? You're going to have to run. If you stay home, you're not going to be able to make the payments. And when that happens, you will lose your truck. It does happen to people. So just know what you're getting into. But if you could run hard, like my man here, you could gross $250,000. You can put in the bank 80 G's. So we'll talk to you guys on the next one. And thank you again so much, brother, for this information. No hate, all love, and that's why we do the show.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.